of 39 with no remainder. I'm going to label, this is my divisor. This part here is my dividend, because that's the number I took apart. Some of you were saying all these numbers down here were your dividend. You didn't take those apart. Those are the differences after you subtract it from your dividend. Okay? And then this right here is your quotient. And in this box here is going to be your remainder. Please make sure that you label it correctly so that you understand where everything goes and then how your numbers are working. These are the number of groups of 39 that you had that you needed to work out, because that gave you part of your quotient, partial quotients on that. All right, so on 7, your answer is 131. And let's look at number 9. Since I still have space, I'm going to go to my number 9. And I have 14. Goes into 573. Okay? No matter how many digits you have, you still need to figure out how many of this number. So it's always going to be a 14 times 1, a 14 times 2. So 2 groups of 14, 1 group of 14, a 14 times 3, 3 groups of 14. So you can keep multiplying that out, and then you can figure out which one is going to fit. And we're doing it pieces at a time so that you don't have to do all the additional math. Okay, so 14 cannot go into 5. It's way too small. So I'm going to put 0 times. There'll be 0 groups of 14, so that 0 times 14 equals 0. Bring down my 5. Bring down my 7. So 5 minus 0 equals 5, and I'm bringing down. See how I'm subtracting out? I'm making my dividend smaller and smaller and smaller. Now, how many groups of 14 can go into 57? Well, let's take a look. 1 group of 14 equals 14. 2 groups of 14 equals 28. 3 groups of 14 equals 42. Okay, so 3 times 4 equals 12. Carry my 1. 3 times 1 is 3, plus 1 is 4. So now I have 4 times 4 is 16. 4 times 1 is 4, plus 1 is 5. So look at that. This is as close as I'm going to get. So it's going to be 4 groups of 14 that will give me 56. So 7 minus 6 equals 1, and I'm bringing down my 13. Now, some of you got confused on this, so I want to make sure that you're understanding. All right. Can 14 go into 13? No, absolutely not. So I'm going to have a 0 here. 0 times 14 is 0. Subtract it out. So now my quotient is 40. So I'm going to put my quotient equals 40. And my remainder, I'm going to label this my remainder. So I'm going to put R is 13. Okay, so that's all I have. So the more practice you get in, guys, I'm telling you, then the mastery level starts to increase. This is called my what? Very good, it's your divisor. And this is called your, very good, it's your dividend, because it's the number that you're breaking apart or you're putting into smaller groups, right? Because you're trying to find out. So this is what you're separating or dividing up. And then your quotient up here, because that's the number of groups, or the answer to how many groups of your divisor goes into there. This is how many are in a group. This is how many groups you have. So if you wanted to draw a picture, you have group 1. And in group 1, you have 14. Group 2, you have 14. Group 3, you have 14 of whatever it is. And it goes on till you get to group 40. Oops, I should have written group 40. And in group 40, you have 14. None's left over because they're all divided into equal parts. So then if you were multiplying 40 times 14, so I'm going to check my work. I didn't do it on the other ones, but you were needing to. Check work. 40 times 14. 4 times 0 is 0. 4 times 4 equals 16. I'm now crossing this out, and a 0 goes here. 1 times 0 equals 0. 1 times 4 equals 4. And I'm going to add that up. 0 plus 0 equals 0. I'm going to move that up here. 6 plus 0 equals 6. 4 plus 1 equals 5. What did I do wrong? Did y'all catch my mistake? Oh, because what I had to do, that's right, I have to add my remainder. For some reason, my brain was thinking it was even. It's like, it can't be even. I remember 13. 0 plus 3 equals 3. 6 plus 1 equals 7. And 5 plus 0 equals 3. So is it 573? That's exactly right. So my answer is correct. All right. And that's what we were doing here through 1 through 9. So the answer is 40 with a remainder of 13. And that's my quotient. Let's look at number 11, and I have given you the answer, and the answer to that one was 37 bottle caps. And how did we get 37 bottle caps? All right, so let's read. Leon has 1,353 bottle caps in his collection. He decides to, look at this word, divide them evenly among 47 boxes. So there's going to be one box. And how many are in there? How many bottle caps will Leon have left over? Okay, so now we have to see how many is going to have left over. So he wants them divided into 47 boxes. We're going to take this 1,353 and we're going to separate it. We're going to divide it up. I'm going to do this in long division. All right. It'll be done in the same way if you're doing it in the area model as well. I still have my multiplication sign here. I still have groups of, and I'm going one by one. Can 47 go into 1? No, way too tiny. 0 times 47 equals 0. 1 minus 0 equals 1. I bring down my arrow and I start again. I repeat the process. This is still too tiny because it needs to be equal to 47, because 47 can go into 47 one time. So it has to be at least one group. This is a 13. It's less than 47, so 47 cannot go into 13. So it'll be 0 times 47 equals 0. Subtract it out. It makes it 13. And bring down my 5. Now we have 47. How many groups of 47 can go into 135? Well, let's check. 47, I'm going to just do it by one for those of you that keep getting it confused. One group of 47 equals 47. Two groups of 47. 2 times 7 equals 14. Carry my 1. 2 times 4 is 8 plus 1 is 94. I can keep going. 47 times 3. 3 times 7 equals 21. 3 times 4 is 12. 13, 14. So is 3 groups of 47 too big? Yes, it is. This is 141. I can't go over 135. So the best answer is going to be my 2 groups. So I have two groups of 47. I already figured that out. It's 94. I'm going to subtract that out. 5 minus 4 is 1. So those of you that can't see the 13, I'm going to put a 0 here and bring my 1 there, and it's still 13. So 9 from 13 is what? Yep, it's 4. Because I do 9, 10, and then I have 3 left over, so it's 41. Is my 41 still less than 47? Okay, so great. So I have to bring down another number. Now I have 413. So let's take a look. I can keep going. So let's say, I can do 4, let's do 5, because I want to try to get to 413. Get to it as close as possible. Does that make sense? Long day. 5 times 7 equals 35. 5 times 4 is 20, 21, 22, 23. Okay, I can still keep going, so let's do 8. 47 times 8. 8 times 7 equals 56. 8 times 4 is 32. Plus 5, 37. 376. Can I keep going? Can we put another group of 47 in there? I don't know. Let's check it out. So 47 times 9. 9 times 7 equals what? 63. 9 times 4 equals 36. 36 plus 6 equals 42. And that's too big. So 8 is going to be the largest size that we can do. So I have 8 groups of 47. We said that it was going to be the 8 times 47 equals 376. And now I have to subtract it out. Remember, we're making this smaller and smaller and smaller. I cannot take 6 out of 3, so I need to regroup. This becomes a 0, and now this is a 13. I can take 6 out of 13. That leaves me with 7. I cannot take 7 out of 0, so I need to regroup. That becomes a 3, and now this is a 10. I can take 7 out of 10. That leaves me with 3. Now the question, let's go back to the question. It says, how many bottle caps would Leon have left over? I want you to circle the word left over. Left over means the remainder. So Leon is going to have 28 groups, or in our story problem, we're using boxes. So I'm going to put a slash and put boxes. 28 boxes of 47. So 28. So he's going to have, let's see, evenly among 47 boxes. So he's going to have 28 bottle caps. 47 boxes, so each box is going to have 28 bottle caps in there, with 37 bottle caps left over. Or remaining. Okay? And so this 37 is what we got here for our answer, because that's what was left over. Does that make sense? So do you see the amount of work I did to find out how many groups of that will fit in here?